honorable conduct. Our book club thrives on respect, trust, and ethical behavior. We foster an environment where everyone's voice is heard and valued. Together, we engage in thoughtful discussions, ask insightful questions, and challenge our assumptions, all the while treating each other with kindness and empathy. Welcome to the High Life Experience.
Going on? Welcome back uh, to Higher Learning High Life Book Club. My name is Tramika.
And I am Mr. HighLife Films. What's going on, beautiful people?
We are in the building. Happy 2025, everyone. And we're currently finishing up with Secrets of Closing the Sale by Zig Ziglar. And today's readers are going to be Mr. Highlife and myself. If y'all would like to sign up, listen, it's slots available. I'm going to make sure I put the link in the chat. That way you guys can choose a date that you would like to read. And the next books are The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. And then after that book, we'll be reading The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Or I'm sorry, Dr. Joseph Murphy. I cannot forget the doctor. Okay. So make sure that you all get those next books. And Mr. High Life, if you're able to, you can put those books in a chat if you're able to. All right. Um, Joanna said I can read today if it's okay. Absolutely. Do you want to read first or second? Do not disturb this. Would you like? Oh, first. Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am. You sure can read. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, and the word of the day is rapport. Rapport is a noun originated from French, and the definition is relation, connection, especially harmonious or sympathetic relation. All right, and I was having a little time getting it in the group for some reason. They kept rejecting my post, so but I got it in there, and always, as usual, Mr. Owen came through. So this sentence is, I am having the greatest connection, the greatest synergy, the greatest relationship, and the greatest rapport of my life with abundance. Nice. And I put the rapport we build in our book club goes beyond just discussing literature. It's about creating a community where everyone feels heard and valued. All right. So with that being said, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and TikTok at HighLife Book Club. Word of the day is rapport.
Great sentences, y'all. Mr. Owen is gonna come through. Okay. I feel like he be looking for that notification. And I respect it 100%.
I got in there 2 minutes before 12 o'clock.
Damn.
Because I was doing other stuff. I'm like, oh my God, it's word of the day. I can't break my streak. I can't start this year on the wrong feet. Oh, that's nice, right? I can't break my streak.
Yeah. And I only put it in there 10 minutes before the read, too. So you're right on time. It kept I was putting it in the club, in the book club, and it kept rejecting it for some reason. And I was looking, I posted, and then it wouldn't show up. So I don't know what was going on with Facebook today, but yeah, it's in there.
All right, put some respect on your mind. What's going on, everyone? If you have any type of wins or anything that you would like to share with the group, now is the time. Put some respect on your mind. What's going on, Keisha? Good to see you. Joy, Joanna, Mr. Owen, Mr. Highlife. How y'all feeling?
Feeling good.
I would say I'm feeling well rested, like most definitely. Okay, my baby, she did good last night. She only woke up one time, and so I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But yes, I'm feeling blessed, well rested, and ready to continue to move forward about the day. Building rapport. Actually, I have a sentence because I was just on the phone with one of a pro well, I guess they're a prospect, but we are about to do business with them. We already got everything under contract. Everything is with the title company, so we're looking to close on this property. So one of our clients, um, I got some good rapport with him. He called me this morning, made sure everything was in with the title company. He reached out to one of his attorneys to make sure that all of the documents was up to date because it did not show on title, which means if the title is not clear when it comes to real estate, when the title is not clear, we cannot close on the property. So he went over and beyond to make sure everything was ready to go. And so I appreciate him just building good rapport. He asking me how my family doing and vice versa. He asked how did we bring in a new year, and I told him. He said it's something very similar. So just building good rapport with your clients is imperative.
Right.
Joy, well, I look like you cold, Joy. Yep, you back in you back in the States. Joy is definitely back in Georgia. Burr.
Definitely, definitely. I heard it was cold out there. I was talking to my mentor this morning. He out there in Georgia, and he was like, "I'm not going outside." He said, "Outside is closed for me today." So I
Mm.
think I imagine that it's pretty cold out there.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm on my way home from the airport and I'm freezing.
Definitely not Jamaica.
Oh.
Well, good to see that you have made it back safely. You're on your way home and you enjoyed your vacation. Yes. Love it. Go ahead, Keisha.
Happy New Year, everyone. Yes, just to put some respect on my mind, I brought the New Year in celebrating with my boyfriend. His birthday is New Year's Eve. So he turned 30, and we were just at home relaxing, celebrating. All he wanted for his birthday was a red velvet cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory, and so that's what I got him. And yeah, it was just great bringing it in, not going out and just being in the comfort of my home for the first time in so many years. I haven't went out. Another put some respect on my mind. My class, my last three classes start Monday, and the course information for two of them already dropped. So I'm on it. I'm reading, seeing if I could get ahead in any way, shape, or possible on some of these assignments. And so I'm just ready. I'm so ready for what this year has to bring. I'm just excited for so much. And True, I want to say you look beautiful. You got that new mommy glow on you. You look well rested as well. So I'm glad to see everyone.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with being home for the holidays. As you can see, there's been a lot of craziness going on in the United States as of recent. So home is a good place. I actually had to wake up my brother on New Year's. He was already asleep when the clock hit. So once you get older, you be like, man, ain't going no party nowhere. Like that's the that's not where you want to be at actually, because there's so much going on. You want to be safe. And actually, I had a friend that their grandma actually passed on New Year's, and it was from a drunk driver. So it's like if you want to find a way to find some trouble, be out during those times because that's when trouble is easy to get into. So ain't nothing wrong with being home with your boo, you know what I mean, and just relaxing and enjoying and looking forward because if you bring the year in out and about, that's pretty much how your year goes. You're always out and about in the club and all that stuff. But if you bring your home with your loved one, that's a good foundation for how your year is going to go. So, yeah. And happy birthday to him as well.
Yeah, happy birthday to Quan. Tell Quan that we miss him. All right. We definitely miss him in the book club. But also goodness gracious, oh yes. You graduate this year. You graduate in June, right? From school.
May 2025,
Let's
05,
go.
2025.
Great accomplishment. We are super excited to, you know, I want to be to your graduation. I'm sure you're going to invite me if possible. I think when it comes to graduation they're doing something where it's only like a couple of people that you can invite to the graduation or something like that. Other than that, it's online, right?
Yeah, but I believe they only had that restriction due to the pandemic. Hopefully they lifted it by now. I know I was able to attend my nephew's graduation. Me and all of my nieces and my nephews were all about the same age. So he recently graduated the year before last, and a couple people were able to attend his, about five or six. But true, I expect you to be there. Ain't no, I hope to get invited. You're going to get invited. Like, come
Facts.
on.
Let's go. Well, we're excited for the for the invitation, and yes, great accomplishment, Keisha, because I know how far you came. I know school was something that you definitely you were struggling with, and it was at once upon a time you actually dropped out of college, because you felt like it wasn't for you. And then just to see you get back into college just to finish up, man, that is amazing. So congratulations to you, Keisha.
Thank you. And also, I didn't just drop off. I dropped out and I tried again and then I dropped out, because at first I was a nursing major, then I went for education, came back home, went back for nursing again. It wasn't working out. And I feel like I found my passion because now I'm going to school for something I'm actually working in instead of just something I hope to work in. So thank you. I appreciate it. This year has been feeling so good and I'm just ready. I am ready.
Yes, that's a bit different, when you're going for something that you can see yourself actually thriving in instead of just going through the motion, you know. So absolutely. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna get into the read, y'all. We are finishing up with this chapter. Chapter, I believe, 33. We're on, is this 33? And Joanna, yep, this is 33. We're finishing up with that. And Joanna is going to be our first reader. All right. So whenever you are ready.
The three-question close. One of the simplest and most effective close is the three-question close, which you use after you have convinced your prospect your product or service will save money, time, work, etc. As an example, if you've been demonstrating the money-saving feature, the three questions are: can you see where this world would save you money? Are you interested in saving money? Wait for answer. If you were ever going to start saving money, when do you think you would be the best time to start? The last question ties it down and gets the decision. If you've done your job and the prospect is honest, you just made a sale. If you're selling on health, you can use the same three questions. Can you see where this would be better for your health? Are you interested in better health? If you were ever going to start taking care of your health, when do you think would be the best time to start? On convenience. Can you see where this would save you more time and work? Are you interested in saving time and work? If you were ever going to start saving time and work, when do you think would be the best time to start? In our company, everything we produce is essentially geared to improve production in one form or another. When our sales representatives are dealing with a salesperson, we teach them this adaptation of the three-question close. Can you see how using this sales technique would increase your sales? Are you interested in increasing your sales? If you were ever going to start increasing your sales, when do you think would be the best time to start? And it's effective. The minister sells too. The next example is taken directly from the inspiring book, The Secrets of Supernatural Living by Dr. Adrian Rogers, and is used with permission of the Thomas Nelson Publishing Company. A man came to see me concerning his wife. She was suicidal, and he wanted me to counsel with her. I said I would if he would come with her to my study. This man worked in space industry at Cape Kennedy and held an important position. The wife poured out her story of a broken heart. She wept as she spoke of her husband's cruelty, infidelity, drunkenness, and gambling. I turned to him and asked, "Sir, are you a Christian?" Mind you, I was not asking for information, but turning the conversation toward Christ. He threw back his head and laughed scornfully. No, I'm not. I'm not. No, I'm an atheist, he said. Well, I responded, an atheist is one who knows there is no God. Do you know all there is to know? Of course not, he shot back. Would it be generous to say you know half of all there is to know? Yes, that would be generous, he muttered. Then if you only know half of all there is to know, wouldn't you have to admit the possibility that God may exist in the body of knowledge you do not have? I asked. I never thought of that, he said. Well, I'm not an atheist, then. I'm an agnostic. I said, now we're getting somewhere. Agnosticism means you don't know. I didn't tell him that the Latin equivalent for agnosticism is ignoramus. An agnostic is a doubter, I said. Well, that is what I am, and a big one. I don't care what size as much as what kind. There are two kinds of doubters, honest and dishonest. The honest doubter doesn't know, but he wants to know. The dishonest doubter doesn't know because he doesn't want to know. He can't find God for the very same reason that a thief can't find a policeman. What kind of doubter are you? I asked. His face softened. I never really thought about it. I guess I never really wanted to know, he said. Did you know that there is a promise to the honest doubter in God's word? I asked. I then read to him the word of Jesus, who was speaking to the doubters of his day. Jesus answered them and said, My doctrine is not mine, but is that his that sent me. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of God or whether I speak of myself. John 7:16 and 17. I continued in plain English. That says that if a man will surrender his will completely, God will reveal himself to that man. My friend was getting interested. I then asked him, Would you be willing to sign a statement like this? God, I don't know whether you exist or not, but I want to know. And because I want to know, I will make an honest investigation. And because it's an honest investigation, I will follow the results of that investigation, wherever they lead me, regardless of the cost. After a time of soul searching, he said, Yes, I would be willing to sign a statement like that. I will do it. How do I go about making such an investigation? We shared together, and I got him started reading the Gospel of John with the commitment that he really wanted to know the truth and would follow any truth revealed to him, regardless of the personal cost or consequences. In a matter of weeks, this same man came back to my study, got on his knees, and gave his heart to Christ. That was many years ago. I had lost track of him until recently when I received a letter from him. He's now living in another state and is an excited witness for Christ. In his letter to me, he said, Dear friend, thank you for being willing to spend time with this general in the devil's army. Now, where was this man's real problem? It was not in his head or as he first thought, but in his heart. When he surrendered his will, faith followed. Unbelief reveals a wicked heart. As you see, Dr. Rogers asked 7 questions which resulted in the decision. He also dealt with the man's head and his heart. The next example is a case study on how to effectively ask questions to lead even distraught prospects to a favorable decision. Selling a service. In 1982 and 83, our daughter Julie worked for the Bennick Company as the only female public insurance adjuster in the state of Texas. Her job was essentially that of selling, so she and I took advantage of many opportunities to discuss sales techniques and procedure. I was thrilled with her professionalism and the number of questions she developed to lead the prospect to favorable and mutually advantageous decisions. Obviously, the company training program provided her with many techniques, procedures, and questions, but she generated some key ones on her own. Her primary prospects were those who had suffered major losses due to a weather, fire, floods, or any other natural or man-made catastrophe. Most of her clients and prospects had suffered losses from fires and damage exceeded 20,000. When Julie arrived for her sales call, the first question she always asked was, did everyone get out okay? Please understand that nearly 100% of the people she dealt with were emotionally upset. Not only fires had hazardous to your health, but they're also messy and expensive. Many times the victims had also lost personal items, irreplaceable keepsakes, and family heirlooms. Their need for someone to share in their grief and give them some measure of empathy and understanding was enormous. Julie's opening question demonstrated real concern for the victim and helped create a favorable climate for the interview. That opening question also brought the victim face to face with his good fortune in suffering only the loss of things and not a loved one. She never had a client who suffered that loss.
Establish rapport, then ask questions. Once the prospect had assured Julie that everyone was okay, she made a few comments expressing her relief and her sincere regret for the property loss. Once rapport had been established, Julie asked the second question. Have you ever had a major property loss before? Most of them had not. Did you ever have a claim on a car wreck or damage? If the answer was affirmative, she would ask, how did it go? If the answer was satisfactory, she responded positively by saying, Generally speaking, on small losses, the treatment is usually fair. If the answer was negative, she responded, then you are already familiar with how insurance company adjusters work in order to minimize the settlement amount. Her voice inflection made the statement a question. She would generally wait for a comment. Julie, did you know you have a right to a professional representative when you suffer a loss such as this? Prospect, no, I didn't. Julie, do you understand, Mr. Prospect, that whether or not you want to be, right now you are your own claims adjuster? Prospect, I hadn't really thought about it. Julie, do you feel knowledgeable enough to negotiate with the expert the insurance company will send out to adjust your loss? Prospect, probably not. Julie, do you have a high do you do you have as high a regard for your money, Mr. Prospect, as the insurance company does for its money? Prospect, yes, I do. Julie, do you realize that they're going to send out a professional to protect their money? Prospect, I hadn't thought about it in those terms. Julie, their claims adjuster is a professional. So do you think it would be in your best interest to have a professional protecting your money? Prospect, yes, I probably should. Julie, you do understand that the insurance company is not simply going to say, send us the bill and we'll pay it, don't you? Each of these questions is designed to make the prospect think in terms of using a professional because the insurance company is also going to have a professional. This is not to imply that the insurance company wants to cheat anyone or is going to be unfair. Realistically, the homeowner in most cases does not understand his rights and in virtually every case forgets many of the items which are destroyed in a fire. Other questions Julie often asks, Mr. Prospect, would it be a problem for you and your wife to take time from work and family to sift through, sort out, write down, and price everything you lost in your home, from the brushes in the closets to the number of socks in your drawers? Prospect, yes, it would. Julie, would it be convenient for you to meet with the adjuster, restoration, restoration people, dry cleaners, and others who need access to your home and belongings? Prospect, that depends on when and where. Julie, in a court of law, you have an attorney to represent you, and in front of the IRS, you have a CPA to plead your case. Doesn't it make sense that you would do better to have a professional adjuster plead your case in this loss? Prospect, sounds reasonable. Julie, when you get down to negotiating the loss, will you feel comfortable the figures being presented are just and fair to you? Prospect, I'm not sure. Julie, Mr. Prospect, did you know that our average increase after the insurance company first offer is 30%? Prospect, no. Julie, Mr. Prospect, our fee is only 10%, so you still realize an additional $200 per $1,000 by making the right decision to hire a professional. In simple terms, on a loss of $20,000, this will bring you $4,000 extra. On $50,000, it would be an extra $10,000, which is in reality your money, which you will need to rebuild and replace your loss. These figures are net to you after our fee. Does that extra money, which is yours, appeal to you, Mr. Prospect? Prospect, it sure does. Julie, the exciting fact, Mr. Prospect, is that we guarantee our work. If we don't secure a settlement large enough to cover your repairs and our fee, there will be no fee. In other words, Mr. Prospect, there's no way you can lose. Is that the kind of situation you'd like to participate in, Mr. Prospect? Prospect, yes, it is. Julie, would you like for us to start working for you today so you can move back into your home at the earliest possible moment? Or is there any particular hurry? Prospect, we don't have a place to live, so the sooner we can move back in, the better it will be. Julie, if you will go ahead and okay this agreement, we can get this process started so that despite the grief of the loss, you will not be faced with the financial burden to go along with it. That is what you want, isn't it, Mr. Prospect? Prospect, yes. If you count, you'll discover that in the process, she asked over a dozen questions. Her results were excellent because the questions were designed to lead that person to take the action step to solve his problem. You must learn to ask questions. Many times people ask me how they can learn to ask questions. The first thing I'm going to tell you is obvious: study. Don't just read this book. Take all the other questions. There are over 800 in this book, and rephrase them so they relate directly to your business. Then record those questions with the right voice inflection and listen repeatedly until they are firmly embedded in your subconscious mind. This will clarify your thinking to an amazing degree. It will enable you to zero in on your target, which is to help crystallize your prospect's thinking, which helps him in making the right decision. This is critical because your success and the solution to his problem are ultimately dependent on his making the right choice. Additionally, you should learn how to ask questions by talking with the top salespeople and sales trainers with your company, or by asking other salespeople who sell similar products. Ask them the specific questions they use to, number one, arouse interest; number two, sell benefits; three, get appointments; four, secure prospects; five, close the sale; six, tie the order down; and number seven, convey conviction. Keep your eyes and ears open when you go out to shop or when a salesperson comes calling on you. Build a sales library and become a student of selling. Develop the power to concentrate on one thing at a time. In this case, that one thing is how to ask questions. Anytime you see or hear an effective sales question, write it down in the question section of your sales notebook. Remember, the truly professional salesperson always keeps his inner ear and his sixth sense tuned in to good sales technique. He has the true missionary zeal to learn as much as he can so he can spread the word to as many people as possible about his fantastic product or service. The greatest salesman close. Since I am often asked about sources for learning more than about more about asking questions, I'll simply anticipate your question. There is a manual available in every good bookstore, which will be enormously helpful to you in learning how to ask questions. The manual you want to pick up is called the Holy Bible. At this moment, this has nothing to do with religion, but any fair-minded person has got to admit that the greatest salesman who ever lived was the carpenter from Galilee. Get a red letter edition. Christ's words are in red, and you will discover that every time somebody asks Jesus Christ a question, he always answered with the question or with a parable. So if you want to know how to ask questions, that's the place to learn. Everything he said in the Bible can be read in about 3 hours. So he was obviously going right at men's hearts with every word. He was also the greatest sales and marketing manager who ever lived. He took just 12 salesmen, and one of them, Judas, was a loser, and spread the good news everywhere in short order. Many times I've heard people say, I've read the Bible, but I don't understand it. Personally, I don't think it's the part they don't understand that bothers them. Actually, the Bible is very, very clear. For example, I'll bet you notice he didn't call the 10 Commandments the 10 suggestions. As long as you are reading the Bible to learn how to ask questions, you might as well read on and learn the answers. One of these days, he's going to ask you a question, and if you get it right, you get to stay. My friend, that will be the biggest sale you will ever make. You really should read your Bible. Not only will it give you peace of mind now, but to tell you the truth, it'll help keep the heat off you later. I'm talking that talk. The dinner out closed. Questions are especially effective if you can tie customer benefits to the question. The customer is the person who is buying the idea, concept, good, service, or product from you, whether it is a sale or a social situation. Never will I forget one Friday evening when I returned from a tough week on the road. The redhead met me at the airport and she was dressed fit to kill. As usual, she had on some of the good, sweet smelling stuff that I especially like. As we were waiting for my bag to come down on the carousel, she snugged up real close, slipped her hand into mine. She's powerful, friendly, anyhow, and said, "Honey, I know it's been a long, tough week for you. So if you want, we can stop by the store on the way home and pick up a nice steak or some seafood. While you relax with the paper, I'll prepare a nice dinner for you for two. Tom is spending the night with Sam, so we'll be by ourselves. Then, honey, after we've had a nice dinner, I'm certain you won't want to get involved in cleaning dirty dishes and greasy pots and pans, so you can watch television while I take care of that. It shouldn't take me more than an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. Pause. Or the thought occurs to me, honey, that you might be more comfortable and enjoy the evening more if I were completely free to devote all of my time and energy to you. I could do this in a really nice restaurant. Of course, honey, it's entirely up to you. What do you prefer? And they call them the weaker sex. I don't really think it's necessary to tell you we did not stop by the grocery store or cook that dinner at home. That redhead sold me by asking questions. It is effective persuasion when you ask questions which lead the prospect to a decision that is in his best interest. And that is the read for today. That was good. He was talking that talk at the end, but I was like, okay. He said, because when you get to that pearly gate, he gonna ask you a question, and that question gonna the answer to that question gonna either make you or break you. So I like that. That was really good. He had me over here. I was over here like I was reading, and I was like, okay. So yeah, thank you for reading, Joanna. This was good. This was good.
Absolutely. If anyone have any takeaways, the floor is open. Keisha said, I like that redhead. Yeah, that redhead, she gonna ask some questions. She's a saleswoman for sure, for sure. But hey, she learned from the best, you know, she learned from her husband. So, you know, go ahead, Joanna.
I just wanted to hear the rest of the story on the minister sells too. When the man took his wife who was suicidal, we never heard anything more about her. And I'm like, is she okay? Because he started asking the husband question and he never went back to her, unless he went back in the other book, but not in this. Because I'm like, what does he have to do with her? He took his wife. Why is he diverting attention to the man? So that's me wondering. I wonder if that lady, how did she make it? Because it sounded like they ignore her for a while. And they went with a really serious problem for her, but he used the opportunity to close a sale, I mean, so to speak. So that was my quandary. I was just wondering about that. I think I like asking questions, but didn't he say not to ask too many questions, to let them ask questions, or should we ask questions? I'm confused. Is it us that should ask questions, or the prospect should ask questions?
Yeah, I think it's us asking questions as well so that we can get down to like we can have like a clearer understanding. Um did he tell us not to ask questions? Did he say that?
I think somewhere in the book it's like we mustn't ask the question, let the prospect ask the questions.
Mm, okay, I think I know what part of the book you're referring to in regards to allowing them to answer their question
Yeah.
well, by how I guess you ask the question. That's
Mm,
interesting. That's interesting. I
mm.
think the more questions we do ask, it allow them to think. It kind of like opens up a different paradigm for them as well, is what I'm thinking. Um,
And bring
it's
that
kind of
new
like
value.
a therapist, like a counselor, right? In regards to the way you ask questions, it allows your client to think about their situation in a way that they've never thought about it before, depending on the question, right? And so yeah, so that's pretty interesting. I like how he broke down the gentleman that was an atheist. And he said, "Well, no, I'm a is that a at Nagas? How do you pronounce that? What is
Agnostic.
agnostic?
You know,
Okay.
someone told me this many years ago, and when I was reading, I thought, because he's a sales guy. He's good at sales. I'm like, this is where he got it. I thought, yeah.
So you heard this before.
Just that story, not in that way, but I heard the story before and I thought, oh, so this is where he got it, and that's why he's good at sales. He must have studied Zig. Yeah, years and years ago.
This book also reminds me of Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone has a book called Sell or Be Sold. And pretty much in that book, he's asking questions. He has multiple closes, hundreds of closes that you can utilize. And it's about asking, you know, questions and closing the sale in so many ways. And so he was just pretty much just saying, goodness, let me well, I don't think I highlighted it, but once I find it again, I'm gonna highlight it in regards to the professional. If you're a professional, you should be pretty much studying. Um, oh, a true, yeah, I did highlight it. The truly professional salesman always keeps his inner ear and sixth senses tuned in to good sales techniques. And it just kind of it reminded me of Grant Cardone in his book. Go ahead, Keisha.
Yes, I really did enjoy this read as well. In the beginning part of the read where he was speaking to the prospect, the atheist, and then he said he was an agnostic. And instead of telling us that agnostic comes from another word that means ignorant. He instead gave us the actual word, ignoramus. And so I'm over here and I actually look at what ignoramus means, and it means an ignorant or stupid person. And so it's like he covered up, he was just using the proper terminology for that. But yeah, I like how he was able to get him to change his mind and say, okay, I'm not an atheist. Instead, I'm an agnostic. And then another thing about Julie, Zig's daughter. Me personally, I feel that I would be a little annoyed if a major event just happened where my house burnt down. I'm now homeless, and I have this person who I never seen before drive up to me and my family and just start asking a lot of questions, regardless if it sounds right on paper. In a real life situation, I'll be like, okay, look, just give me your card. I'll call you whenever I want to call you. But right now, I have enough to think about. Personally, that's how I feel that I may feel. If I'm standing in front of my burnt down house and you asking me, there's got to be 20 questions. Y'all could go back and count 20 questions. And so, yeah, that was my thing. Um, but I do like that she asked the prospect questions. It's just the amount of questions and the timing that kind of threw me off. But that is his daughter, and she's the same little girl that made him feel bad whenever he was about to leave a house, and now she's grown up into, this person. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think that to go with what you just said, Katie, I think it was the order that she asked those questions because she wasn't just firing them off, firing them off. She was getting a response as well. So, but the first question, I think that opened it up. If you're trying to sell something and you just go into the sales pitch, then yeah, I would have been annoyed. But if the first thing you asked me, did everyone make it out okay? And you were sincere about it, okay, you can have a little bit of my time. You know what I'm saying? And now she was asking, like, she was just itching to, put her services in there. She wasn't like, okay, well, everybody made out okay. Okay, do you need somebody to represent you? Like, you know what I mean? Instead of that, she kept asking those. She worked her way into it, kind of. So it wasn't. I don't know. There was a lot of questions though, but like you said, it just depends on who you're talking to and your presentation as well. Because you come up there and if you sound empathetic, you could get some of my time, you know what I mean? But if you don't sound empathetic and you just sound straight up sales, like you said, all right, give me your card, I'll holler at you. And I ain't gonna call you.
That's true. I guess that is where the follow-up would come in my opinion. Ask the questions, seem empathetic, but I've never been in a situation like this, so I can't speak on firsthand experience, but maybe circle back around in about 8 hours or so. I mean, they didn't drop the exact timeline in the book of when everything happened, so I'm just guessing. Boom, the house on fire. The family stand in front of it, and she pulls up. So that's where my mind is going. So just give them time. That's all.
I love it. I hope it wasn't still smoking when she pulled up. If it was still smoking when she pulled up, then definitely get up out of here later.
May I?
Sir.
So I am tempted to be drawn to Keisha's point because I am visualizing as best as I can to be in that scenario of a fire and the loss and devastation. You're the thing, though, Miss Isla. What if Julie came in and started helping around first, doing some things to as part of the rescue and the kind of relief, maybe, and then she'd get into the rapport building. That would be genius move right there. That would be smart, even smarter than just the rapport building. But I'm really kind of like, Keisha might have a point, man. Might have a point. But if I may, go back to what Ms. Joanna was asking, which I think is interesting, and it's always coming from the point of view of caring about the victim. So that's really interesting. I think the main effort here, and it's interesting to me that Zig waits until the latter part of the book, that he kind of, because we knew he was a Christian, and that's fine. That's really fine. For me anyway, it's fine. But I didn't see him interspersing too much of his faith in terms of so vivid and so direct until now. as he's winding down to the book. So I'm saying that, not to be cynical, Zig just wait until we're in the latter part of the book to kind of get into some evangelizing and some proselytizing as far as his faith goes. So the main point I'm making is that, to Joanna's question, I think it was, even though the suicide attempt was obviously a serious thing, the main point of that particular excerpt was to show how he could bring around this atheist to almost see the light, and that was the main concern, and nothing else. Well, that was the main concern. The suicidal attempt might have been secondary. Hence, we don't send a follow-up. I like the fact that he can expertly use the Bible. I love doing that. I like to use the Bible as far as part of the book, because a lot of lessons can be learned about sales is right. And of course, calling Judas that loser, that was interesting. Like I saw that too. But it's a good read. It comes down to using the question, the Q&A approach, if I may call it that, the Q&A approach, and also, as to Mr. HighLife's point, be empathetic about it, and not just going there cold with guns blazing to sign the contract or the agreement right now. I don't care how you really feel. I need to get this done. To be continued.
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you so much for that takeaway. I just wanted to, I think we all should figure out our 3-question close. I think that 3-question close, anything that you're offering, any service that you have, you should find a way to use these 3 questions to, turn it to, I think, because that last question is the one that will get everyone, when do you think it would be the best time to start? If you wanted to build your brand, like for me, I would say, if you were going to start building your brand, when do you think would be the best time to start? 9 times out of 10, everybody gonna say now. Everybody not gonna say, give me about 5 months and then I'll get together. More than likely that's gonna be the beginning of the conversation right there. So I think that we all should find our 3 questions to ask prospects. Those 3 questions will go into all the other questions. We'll go into even us presenting our making our presentation. But yeah, and I just wanted to say that I really did like the part how he threw the Bible in there. It was just a reminder too, because I don't read the Bible as much as I should, and the way he to go back to the atheist, the way he opened up the atheist was by saying, "Do you think you know it all?" And he was like, "No." He was like, "Do you think you know half of stuff?" He was like, "Well, maybe." He said, "Would that be what he said? Would that be generous or something like that?" And he said, "Yeah." So he know that he don't know it all, and then he said, "Well, if I challenge you to open up yourself to just go look and see and find out the information for yourself, and to be open to just take that information in, now you can take it and you can say, okay, I done read this." Some people will say they don't believe in God, but they ain't never read the Bible. Some people will say they don't believe in something, but they ain't never, I don't mess with Republicans, but what do you know about Republicans? I don't mess with black people. Okay, what do you know about black? Like, it's just, if you don't know nothing about them and you just don't like it because you just don't like it, then right there, you're not even open to getting no information. And I think right there, when he made him open to get the information was like super brilliant, because he's not forcing him to go read about it. He's like, go read it and then you'll learn God. You're going to find God in the Bible. He went in there to ask questions. And he said, if you're looking there for the questions, while you're in there, you might as well keep on reading to find the answers. So that right there, I was like, it gave me goosebumps a little bit. And it made me want to, like, as soon as we get off of here, it made me want to just go jump in my Bible and go read a couple chapters real quick. You know what I mean? Because, the answers that we always looking for, it seems like they're always in the Bible somewhere. We just have to, like we say, if we ask, we don't get the answer to the question. I mean, we don't get our answers until we ask the right questions. But if we don't know what the right questions are, then how will we ever find our answer? So I love that part about the read today. And it wasn't really religious. He really wasn't religious at all. He was just giving him some stone cold fact. Like he said, if you go in there and you look, you're gonna find it. So that was the biggest takeaway for me today.
Seemed to me though that I think he became more religious than any other section of the book. Is that fair to say? I think this section that is going to the concluding part of the book that we're on now. It became, I mean, look at this, like above the dinner out clause. Not only will it give you peace of mind now, but tell the truth, it will help keep the heat off you later.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. And you're like, if you ask the question that they're gonna ask you when you get there, then you can stay. So definitely, I can see it on that point. But yeah. What about you, True?
Oh, I mean, yeah, this was definitely a good read. I mean, you all pretty much hit all the main points. I said my takeaway earlier, but yeah, this was a great read for sure. It was. Thank y'all so much. Thank you again, Joanna, for reading. Um, and with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. If no one else have any other takeaways.
Oh, I gotta ask something. I got an assignment from my mentor. So I have to ask for a sale every day. So my ask today is that would anyone like to buy Make Reading Fun Again Today hat? And if you would, just go to www.iamhighlife.com and get your hat, Make Reading Fun Again. All right.
Put it in the chat.
What will it do for me if I bought one?
What will it do for you? It's a friendly reminder.
Okay.
To make reading that's the mission of the book club, is to make reading fun again, and to anybody that you're around, it definitely brings attention. If you want some attention, wear this hat because it's gonna give you that double look. They want to make sure they ain't the other hat.
I was just Zig Ziglar, you, Mr. HighLife. I just put some Zig on you. That's all it was.
Nice.
And Mr. Owen, it will definitely help protect the hair follicles that you obtain on your dome. And it may even help with hair growth by protecting it from the weather outside and the unneeded humidity and things like that. I definitely think you'll benefit.
I'm gonna buy one right now. With that.
Joyce, did you say IamHighLife.com or did you say
Yes. I'm over here crying. The occasion is too funny. That was too funny. But actually, he don't want hair growth. He wants to keep his head nice and shiny and keep the moisture locked in. So the hat will keep the moisture locked in. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it, Joyce. Thank you so much. I put the link in the chat just in case anyone do want to go to the website to check out our apparel.
Yeah, and that was one of my assignments. That's one down. I gotta ask 3 more people. So yeah, I gotta offer my services to 3 to 5 people every day. Our services or products. So yeah.
Hey, let's make
I
it
might just say it in the book club every day, just like that could be one of them a day.
let's make it 10. Hey.
Here you go. Okay, Zig.
All right. Word of the day.
Rapport.
So if you haven't already put a sentence in the group, go ahead, put your sentence in the group. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll see y'all back here tomorrow. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. And please don't forget to put some respect on your mind.
Hey.
Hey.